Alright, you guys already know what time it is. Another episode of Deep to Right, our deep dive into the MLB here on this beautiful Sunday. John, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'm a little tired because UFC likes to keep their shit going until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
So it's a late night, but we're ready to rock this. We got a good convo piece for today.
Hell yeah.
How you doing, my man?
I'm good, bro. I'm just trying to power through this thing. A little exhausted from last night, as you said, with the UFC staying up late. But we might as well jump right into this. We got a lot to talk about with steroids and substances in the MLB. Jeez, I'm having trouble saying that all day, huh?
Dude, it's...
substances.
These foreign substances,
Yeah.
internal, external, they're the talk of the league right now. I feel like since the first time, since 2000, 2003, this is the main focus, just like when PEDs were. It's all over. All over the MLB right now. So let's get into it.
For sure.
What is Spider Tack? Spider Tack was invented by a power lifter. His name's James Deffenbaugh. And that was so when you're lifting 1,500 steel, you can grip that thing. Spider Tack, in James' own words, is a room temperature molasses-like substance. You dip your hand in this jar, you pull it out, it creates like a web. Like you dip your hand in syrup. Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets its name, Spider Tack. Use a small company dealing in wholesale to a couple power lifters, a couple brands. Overnight, he saw this skyrocket in sales. Skyrocket.
I wonder what that could be.
Do we think they were hiding it? No.
Come on.
These teams were ordering it themselves, shipping it directly to the stadiums. That was the mailing address. The stadium. He didn't say which teams did it. He wouldn't, he's a good guy. He's not trying to throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah.
Donaldson. But he saw the skyrocket. He saw exactly where they were going.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear that this is on the players, that this is Trevor Bauer's fault, that this is Garrett Cole's fault. It's not. This is yet again the league's fault, not enforcing their own rules, not making the rules clear, and now the players are the scapegoats.
Yeah, and it just seems like they don't care for the rules. And that's why Rob Manfred said the World Series trophy is a hunk of metal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like
metal.
Because he doesn't care, and that's the problem with this MLB. If you want things to change, Rob Manfred has to go.
That's step number one.
Yep.
Right? He's got to go. He is a clown. We will never stop saying it until we have a new commissioner. He's a clown.
MLB is the only league that is destroying itself.
Absolutely.
Literally.
We talk about it. It feels like week in, week out. Grow the game. Let's get people more involved. So we have these young stars for the first time in years being compared to the likes of Willie Mays, Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
And we have bullshit rules to interfere with that. You don't want to induct some of your greatest players into the Hall of Fame because your rules were unclear?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like they switch it whenever there's a complaint. Oh, okay, we got to change this.
Whenever it's convenient for them, whenever they can make the most money. Pitchers are getting paid $30 million a year right now. You don't want them to come out getting smacked around daily. So the MLB changes the balls, then comes out and says, "Oh, we didn't really change the balls. It's just more of a foreign substance issue of pitchers." Stop. You
know what you did.
But you know what you did. Pitchers said it was like a cue ball last year. Mm-hmm. And now we've talked about the deeper laces, the different ball, and we want to change the focus to Spider Tack?
Yeah. It seems like they're just trying to cover it up. Because at this point, as Pete Alonso said when we brought up last week's show, I mean, everybody can tell he's clearly talking with other players, and they all seem to know, all right, the ball was different in 2019 than right now how the pitchers are doing it. The batters were hitting great, and now the batters are doing terrible.
The lowest hitting numbers in MLB history right now. Yeah. The lowest average across the league. I think it's the lowest number of home runs through 60 games.
Yeah, it's getting bad, and like you said, you can't just blame it on the foreign substance because they've been around. Everybody's been using it since day one.
We were talking before. Al Leiter said that everybody has always had their thing, whether it be the sunscreen, the rosin bag, the pine tar, what have you. There's always been ways that pitchers find that extra jump, that extra step ahead of the batters.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree 100%.
Pete Alonso's comments of, well, I'm allowed to use pine tar in the batter's box. Why would the pitchers not be allowed to use something to help them grip the ball?
Yeah.
And 500 RPMs is a lot. That's the average amount of RPMs that adds onto the fastball from using Spider Tack. That's a lot. It's not an astronomical amount. No. You can still hit that ball.
Yeah, and it's not just that, but okay, so you're making an average pitcher good. You're making Garrett Cole a great pitcher, amazing. It's like, it's not that big, it's that extra step, which anybody could and should use. If they didn't say you can't use it, if they don't punish you, why not use it to give you that extra advantage?
It's Spider Tack's to make every pitcher look closer to DeGrom, because that dude is unreal.
Dude.
0.56. Awesome. Come on. I'm not even in this conversation.
Yeah. And DeGrom is on his own planet doing his own thing.
His own planet. Yep. I digress. This is what we're seeing with this with the Spider Tack is just like you said. It's giving them a little boost, giving them a little bit of a competitive edge. And it's not... I genuinely don't believe it's changing a whole lot of the game. No. I think the MLB changing the ball year in, year out, to the juice balls, to the dead balls, is way more of a matter of importance in this case than the Spider Tack is.
Yeah, and you know what? Not to get off topic, but you know what else hurts the batters and everything? The shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, you're letting guys have 3-4 guys on the right side of the infield. What are we doing
Why
here?
can't batters hit the ball? Well, they're hitting the ball. They can't get on base because you put defensive players in these exact holes where they're going to hit the ball. I get it. Good strategy. You're killing the game.
Yeah. And you're telling guys that have hit routine balls the exact same way that are usually singles or doubles. You're telling them now, hey, you have to change it to where you have to go the exact opposite way to get a base hit.
Taco. Who's going to do that every single time? Otherwise, who's going to be able to? Base.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, dude.
No, I hate that shift. That's one of the things that they need to end right now.
Yeah.
You know, this conversation wasn't supposed to happen till the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Manfred in the league said after the 2021 season, that's when we're cracking down. Shit got out of hand. Trevor Bauer made his point. They're cracking this down now.
Yeah.
Same thing needs to happen with these shifts.
Well, Trevor Bauer made his point a while ago as well.
Trevor Bauer for those of you who don't know, he called out the Astros in 2017 for using the foreign substances. He saw it. He didn't like it. He saw the increased spin rate. He tried to get something done. Nothing got done, so he said, fuck it. Nothing to... If you can't beat him, join him.
Yep.
He said he could be one of the best pitchers in the league if he started using a foreign substance. And what did he do? Started using a foreign substance, won a Cy Young, got paid, secured the bag, and now he's like, well, I proved my point. Time to tear this shit down from the inside.
Yep. Dude, Trevor Bauer, I mean, he deserves it all right there. That's awesome.
In 2017, his average spin rate on his slider was 2,506 RPMs. In 2020, that same slider was spinning at 2,951 RPMs. His curveball, up 500, past 3,000 RPMs in 2021. He is proving his point by doing what he tried to get stopped. You know?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Good, good for Bauer. You know, a lot of people cannot stand Trevor. I like Trevor. He's good for the league. His attitude, I think, is what this league needs.
Yeah. That's the same with batters. Batters need to be ready to go and hyped up and allowed to celebrate and have emotion. Like, the whole MLB needs it. You know what I'm saying? It needs more people like them.
Completely agree. It's like all this shit with the foreign substance, like the same exact thing with the PEDs. You know, half of these players that aren't going to be allowed in the Hall of Fame because of steroids, PEDs weren't banned while they were playing. PEDs weren't banned until 2003. 2003, 2005?
2005?
2005.
Yeah.
They weren't banned until. So half of these players were at the tail end of their careers, if not already retired, by the time these PEDs were banned.
Yeah.
Now we want to make a big deal about Spider Tack because, which I get, it's in the rule book. MLB Rule 6.02 C-7. pitchers may not have on his person or in his possession any foreign substance. Right? Mm-hmm. Rule is clear. You haven't been enforcing it.
You've allowed it.
You've not only allowed it, you've encouraged it.
Yeah.
These teams are the ones that are ordering the spider tack. Mm-hmm. It's not pitchers doing it themselves. So you get pitchers who don't want to use it, who have to use it. Yeah. You have to stay. I was listening to MLB radio this morning. They said it's very similar in the fact that if you didn't want to use steroids back then, you had to because you had to stay competitive. You were going to fall out of the league. It's very similar right now to the foreign substance issue. Yeah,
and if you compare them, I mean, there's definitely some similarities, you know? It's both a big thing that just came out of nowhere that everybody's using it, but, oh, wait, maybe it is a problem, everybody stop using it. Like, it's stuff like that you can compare it to, but there's one big key difference that I see between the steroids and foreign substances, and that's that the foreign substances can only be used by the pitchers. Yeah. Steroids were universal. I mean, they were pitchers, batters, the small, speedy guys. Everybody used them.
You had Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds to Trevor Hoffman being accused, all across the board.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, Jose Canseco said it on 60 Minutes and in his book called Juice. I know, but listen, he let it be known. 80% of players use steroids, and he credited his whole career to the steroids.
He also, in that documentary, Juiced, said that he personally shot Pudge Rodriguez with steroids, and Pudge vehemently denied it, and he actually got into the Hall of Fame in 2017, along with Jeff Bagwell, who was accused, but there was never any solid evidence on Bagwell. I always thought he was going to get in. Pudge was a little 50-50, but he ended up getting in. Canseco was trying to bring everybody down with him. That man came in was like, I got something to say.
Dude, too true. And even like, I mean, you go through the list like you just did with Alex Rodriguez coming out and having to deal with it. And then David Ortiz, somebody who was on the list, tested positive, but was swept right on the rug for some reason.
Yeah, he tested positive in 2003, denied ever knowingly taking steroids. He's up for the first time next year, 2022. So I have no idea if Big Papi's going to. I have a feeling he will, just because he continued his career with the MLB afterwards. But you're 100% right. Same thing with Manny Ramirez. I mean, I don't think Manny's going to get in because he got caught during the enforcement period in 2009 and then caught again in 2011 and was like, I'm actually going to retire. I'm not feeling it. I'm good on baseball for now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like you said, I think David Ortiz, though, I think he'll get in just because he's loved for some reason around the whole baseball world.
Yeah. Yankees fans, we still love this man.
Yeah, no, I am a fan of David Ortiz, and that's why I do think he'll get in. But it's like, they used Alex Rodriguez as the face of it, so to speak.
Yeah, A-Rod and Clemens.
Exactly. And then now they're starting to push the Garrett Cole as the face of it for Spider Tack.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it.
I don't understand the attack on Garrett Cole. In 2017, that's when his spin rate started to slightly increase. His curveball in 2017 was spinning at 2,600 RPMs, which is already incredible.
Yeah.
In 2019, it went up to 2,900 and has dropped back down since to 28 in 2020 and 2832 in 2021.
Okay, so it's not even like...
It's not even astronomical. Trevor Bauer's is way higher of a jump.
Yeah.
He's proven a point.
Yeah, well, he let it be known I'm here to prove my point.
You guys don't want to... I'll show you something.
Yeah, I'll show you how it's used.
I don't understand the attack on Garrett Cole. And the more that we get into this, the more I think it was a dickhead question by that reporter to go, have you ever used Spider Tack?
Well, see, that's the problem with these reporters. They think... They can and should just ask anything, hope to get a response like that out of them.
Yep.
And that's something, as the MLB, protect your players.
Protect your players.
Get them in there and let them know this question might be asked. Don't answer it.
Yep.
I don't care if it makes you look bad. Just say, I have no comment. I was told not to comment. That's it. The Yankees told me not to comment on it. They'll take responsibility of whatever they have to say.
The second half of his answer was perfect.
Yeah.
He goes, if the MLB wants to have a discussion, we can have a discussion. The rules need to be more clear. perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But that first hesitation and that's what killed him.
Yeah.
The second half of that interview, or the press conference, was fine. Because that's what he should have said. The MLB does not make their shit clear.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you want these guys to say to that.
Yeah, it simply comes back down to the MLB not having a grip on their sport.
100%.
It's just
then it divides the MLB community. Because now you still have, I'd say, 50% of people who think guys like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa, McGuire should not be in the Hall of Fame. Whereas I know me and you think similar, where there's no reason for them not to be.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. You're not going to put him in the Hall?
Yeah.
Because steroids were banned after their careers?
See, that's where... Because it's like you didn't even have a rule set. Like
no rules.
If this was in place from the moment they started their careers and they were still trying to do it, okay, then I can see your point. You didn't even set the rule till 2005.
And then put these guys in front of Congress and had this whole investigation and set these guys up like they were criminals.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It really is.
It's incredible what the MLB is willing to do to cover their own ass. I'm not afraid to say that because I truly believe that's what's happening here.
Yeah, because all this Spider Tack news on this is all covering the bigger news on them switching to baseballs.
100%. And now all of a sudden that's gone.
Yeah.
Now Spider Tack is the narrative.
Yep.
Foreign substances is the narrative.
Yeah. And
what happened to them changing the balls?
Yeah.
Why is this?
And even the Mets GM came out and was kind of simmering down on the Pete Alonso tape.
Zach Scott, right?
Yeah. He was coming out. He said, "I didn't know Pete was a conspiracy theorist."
Yeah.
But it's like it's clearly an obvious conversation they have been having. The players I'm talking about. It's clear that they've been having that conversation behind doors, and they know it. And my only belief is, if Pete Alonso is so comfortable coming out and saying it, I feel like they're starting to have a case against it now.
I agree.
Like they're starting to actually be able to come to the MLB, say, "Hey, you guys fucked up and we caught you."
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
And now you're causing these rifts in between players and coaches and GMs, and both of them are standing ground. They believe in what they believe in firmly.
Yeah. But it's not only that. They're causing rifts between players and players now.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson calling Cole out. You had other players calling other players out, snitching on them.
Twice. Shut up, Josh.
Yeah. Well deserved for that one. Good one, bro.
Attaboy, Gary.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it just... I don't know, man. You're tearing this whole sport apart by yourself. Like, you didn't need anything else except for yourselves to be in there.
The way I see it is you got a couple bricklayers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Fernando Tatis, Vlad Jr., Juan Soto. You got these guys
the young guys,
building this shit up, right? Brick by brick on the front of the building, right? And the back side of the building, you got old white dudes just sitting there taking each brick that they put on right back off.
Dude.
How long are we going to go 2 steps forward, 2 steps back?
It's more like 2 steps forward, 6 steps back.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Dude. Because, and like you said, it's the older people that just don't seem to get the times are changing.
Yeah.
And I could reference the Michael K show with Don and Michael K. They're both older in age, and they both don't like how the new antics. They think like older people, but they understand where the game's going, so they are okay with it. They allow the young players to express themselves how the game is moving.
Yes, it's very similar to NFL with the celebrations.
Yeah.
You know? But guess what? NFL fans have adjusted. You realize times are changing, and you move on.
And you know what? Some of the celebrations are funny. Some of them are good.
They're better than some of the games.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, if you could have any of these young players, any player at all, smack a home run, walk off, and celebrate. I mean, that's something that's catching everybody's eye, and depending on what it is, could be funny, could get you more angry, you know what I'm saying?
Come home and do a cartwheel over home base. I do not care.
I just want to be able to let them have emotion. Let them show their true emotions in the game. There's no more hiding it.
I fell in love with Trevor Bauer when he turned around from the pitcher's mound and skyrocketed that ball to the center field wall.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things I have ever seen in professional sports.
Dude,
That was hysterical.
That's what I'm talking about. You remember moments like that.
100, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but the MLB has to allow it. That's as simple as that.
Is it like we're talking about with the celebrations in the NFL? T.O. on the star. Joe Horn with the cell phone. You know, these are some of the greatest celebrations we will never forget.
Yeah, for sure.
While we're still talking about this, I want to hit on Barry Bonds and some of these all-time great sluggers, all-time great pitchers that A, are already off the Hall of Fame ballots, B, in their last 6th, 7th, 8th year on the ballot, they're not going to get in because of the PED use. Barry Bonds leads the MLB in all-time home runs with 762. He's got 73 home runs in one season, the most all-time. My man has the most career walks because teams were so afraid to pitch to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2,558 career walks. My God.
That's phenomenal.
It's incredible. He was a top 5 hitter 12 of his 17 seasons.
Yep.
And it wasn't just his bat. He's a 14-time All-Star and 8-time Gold Glove. 12-time Silver Slugger. 7-time MVP. This is the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's up there, and there's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be in.
I get the argument. He went from skinny Barry Bonds to yoked Barry Bonds in 3 days. But that's the greatest player of all time. You're doing yourself a disservice as the MLB by not putting him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That is MLB history.
Yep.
That is the leader. And if you count his stats, how do you not put him in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Absurd to me. And it's the same thing with Roger Clemens.
Yep.
7-time Cy Young winner. The most all time. He's got the 3rd most strikeouts of all time. He's just behind Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson in that sense. We are Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
Those are the 3. He's 9th in wins all time. But when that Mitchell report came out, and I want to say 05-ish, I believe was the year. He was the main figure in that when his former trainer, Brian McNamee, said that he personally used to inject Roger Clemens. Clemens is denied. He never underwent like a physical change like Barry did. But he's another one that's never going to get in because of this.
Yeah.
It's never been proved.
And this can also tie into... So what happens when you do find out that Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole, and Justin Verlander are using spider tack? So are they not getting in the Hall of Fame? I mean, Jacob deGrom is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest pitcher we are seeing ever.
Borderline of all time.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to end up, right, those 3 I just mentioned, Nolan, Randy, and Roger, that's going to become Nolan, Randy, Roger, Jacob.
Yeah, it's scary. Because, like, and if he's not using it, and now you're just speculating because he's so great, I mean, that just ruins it itself.
100. I don't think at all that Jacob deGrom is using spider tack or any other foreign substance. He's always gone in his belt loop after a strikeout. And this is where we're at, though, is that anytime a pitcher does anything,
somebody fixes their cap real quick, and next thing you know, you got something. You got something.
Come on, we need to get this looked at.
They're making the new rule too, where it's like you get up to like 9 times an umpire can check a player. Like,
that's
what
absurd.
The hell are we doing here?
That's absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
My
bad. Sorry to get off track with this.
No, you're good. We talked about this in the beginning. It's just the way that they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
It's like that Eric Andre meme. That's what we were talking about in the one podcast where I couldn't remember his name. It's the meme of where he shot himself. He goes, "Who would do such a thing?" That is the MLB. Yeah. That's the MLB.
Dude. The MLB has so many problems.
This list: David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, Gary Sheffield, Alex Rodriguez.
Yep.
Some of, if not the greatest of all time.
Yep.
Of all time. MLB still employs half of these guys.
Yeah.
A-Rod and Big Papi are the faces of MLB.
Yeah.
But you're not going to let them into the Hall. Give me a fucking break. Come on.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. And half of it's speculation. That's why I hate it the most.
I completely
because
agree.
I get it, they tested positive, but then You never brought because this is the thing, and this is how I remember it. Because A-Rod took so much heat for it, and then David Ortiz was literally just swept under the rug. He wasn't brought up at all in the conversation. I get A-Rod took it to a next step, bringing in trial and everything.
A-Rod admitted it, and
but it's like David Ortiz just like, no, I'll just stay quiet, and it wasn't me. Boom, and there you go. Now he's kind of loved. Like,
which, hey, hindsight is that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
A-Rod denied it like 3 times, and then the 4th time was like, all right,
maybe I did.
And then everybody, you
hated him
liar.
And
that's why Garrett Cole didn't. He hesitated.
Yeah.
That's why he can't just come out and go, no, I've never used Spider Tack, or yes, I have. Because either way, half of you are going to shit down his throat. So
yeah, it's a lose-lose situation.
Lose-lose situation, and that is the MLB's fault and nobody else's.
Yeah.
Don't want to hear blame on the pitchers. I don't want to hear blame on the batters for the PEDs. In my eyes, open it all up. Let them take steroids. Let them use Spider Tack. I don't care. Give them a corked bat. Let's see 500-foot home runs. I don't care.
It's just and that goes back to having fun for baseball. I mean, that would be the idea of fun, is smacking home runs, great pitching, great defense, offense, base running, no more shifts. Yep. I mean, there's so many easy things they could go about it. And here's also the other thing. If you don't want to take steroids, don't want to use the Spider Tack, then don't use it. It's okay. And if you want to use it, that's your option. That's what I think it should be.
I agree. And then for the MLB to come out and start punishing these minor leaguers.
Yeah.
4 minor league pitchers got suspended for 10 games, and they're still being investigated. But for you to make these rules unclear and then just start hammering on minor leaguers when they don't get paid diddly as it is.
Yeah. That will be so messed up, man. I really am not a fan.
It's the sport we love to hate.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly frustrating at times, but we get what we get, and that's why Rob Manfred's still going to be commissioner.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We really need somebody to come in, clean this thing up, and get baseball back to America's pastime.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. Starting with a new commissioner would be step 1 to me.
New commissioner would be fantastic. Getting these balls figured out would be the next step for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. So are you going to go back to 2019? You're going to go stay with 2021? You're going to go back to 2017? You know, like, we don't know what they fully did.
No, and
that's the worst part. Yeah, they'll never admit it.
No, like we've talked about, we agree with Pete Alonso. We think there's more to it. It's not the pitcher's fault. It's the league's fault. It's the team's fault. Aaron Boone said to the guys in the Yankees clubhouse, "Go, hey, they're coming. If you're doing anything, cut it out. They're coming." So it's not like it's a secret. The teams were ordering the shit, getting it shipped straight to the stadium. Yeah, it's not a secret.
Yeah, but that'll wrap up this episode.
It's good for me, man.
Yeah, it's a good one. A deep to right. A nice little deep dive into steroids and substances in the MLB. You can find it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can read up on our blogs as well at russosplaybook.com. You can also check our UFC bets we put out. Sammy went 7 for 8.
Yes, sir, Sammy.
So if you love winning money, you can check that out every Friday, Saturday. We drop the breakdown and then the guides for betting guides. And like I said, you can check down russosplaybook.com. You can find our socials at Russo's Playbook, at Johnny Two Bats.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys again next week.
Yeah, man, enjoy.